I want to kind of the threefold cord is not easily broken. Um, or two or three gathered. And three witnesses, and then there's something really deep to that right there. So I want to show kind of how things like in a threefold manner get worse and worse and worse from the beginning, and it was written that it would happen, and it was written from the beginning. And if you read this book, Jubilees, from the very beginning, it's like it tells you the promises of God, and it tells you exactly what's going to happen. It's like I just seen this video the other day, or this show, this Indian show. I forgot what it was called, Real Engine, and it was REEL in an engine. And this dude was on there, and he was talking to this guy, and he goes, I'm gonna take this right foot right here, and I'm gonna kick you on that side of the face. And he goes, there ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. And then he kicks him, and the dude falls to his back, straight to the ground. And it's like, in a way, when you read Jubilees or you listen to the audiobook, same thing. The read along, if you wish, you'll at least get the information. And it says right from the beginning what he's gonna do and why he did it and how it's gonna end. And it starts that way. Same thing with Enoch. It says this book is not for the people now. It says this is for a far off remote generation. The end. The revelate. The generation of the tribulation, the great tribulation, or something to that effect. But he's straight up talking about us right now. And the reason why, look, that prophecy is true, that it was wrote from the beginning. Look, this Enoch book is way back in the beginning, the time of Noah and all that. And they just start off this way, and this theme is also played out throughout the whole Bible. And you can really follow this code, like that the arrows, the vials, the four horsemen figure is in some of Moses's prophecy. And then it's picked up in Isaiah and Ezekiel and Daniel and Jeremiah and Hosea and what's the other one? Joel, Matthew 24 on to, man, what, I'm not familiar with the New Testament other stuff with that, except for Jude. Jude is a direct quote from Enoch. It says, when the Lord come with 10,000 of his saints to judge all the ungodly sinners of all their ungodly deeds which they ungodly committed. There's that threefold cord, threefold witness, the three times magnify effect that I'm going to explain here. First effect is when, okay, say the things that happen here affect things in the spiritual, right? That bound in heaven, loosed in heaven, on earth, and it will have an effect on the other. When Adam and Eve, like when Eve sinned with the fruit, it was like bad. But then it was even multiplied. It was like exceedingly bad when Adam actually did it too. What if Adam would have held back, been like, no? But it's not for me to say because it's not the way it is. But that when that happened, they got kicked out of the garden. They lost immortality. But they learned knowledge, the knowledge of good and evil, which is kind of like Pandora's box. Which the more you play with it, it'll just drive you crazy and insane. Basically, that's how it ends, and just crazy and insane. Uh, but okay, yeah, getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and also I think in Jubilees it says when this happened, the animals used to speak with one voice, and man and animal, they could all understand each other. So like when the Indian people say, well, yeah, the old time medicine men could speak with the animals. In a way, you could think of a medicine man that could do that. He was something like a Levite. Because if you look at why do they always put smoke on all the items, if you look at Numbers, any weapon that was used to kill anything, you're supposed to take to your Levite, and he's supposed to clear it of all the energy, of spiritual energy, the residual unclean energy. These people followed that custom. We just are kind of ignorant of it now, what it means and where it comes from, where it stems from, and it's from the Numbers situation. I think is it Numbers or is it Exodus or Deuteronomy. I'm not that sharp in that area, man. I'm only, but I still got I know enough that I can, I know I can go back. I'd always go back there and look again. It's same thing. It says that in the Bible. The men, they heard these people talk and they went and researched the scriptures daily to just make, just hey, whatever. Look, the Pharisees and stuff were trying to read and debunk them, but in a way, they're reading the Bible again with a fresh eye. So in a way, they're relearning all the old prophecies and all this, and then they got to tie it together for themselves. They're getting interactive with it again. They're getting a better reading. They're it's like that game, hotter, colder, warmer. You know what I mean? But the threefold thing here again, that that sin entered in, lost immortality, gained this kind of whack knowledge. It was a bunk trade. Because I mean, and it didn't kick in right away. It was like, for instance, for Adam, for one, he's like, "Oh, you'll never die." The devil says, and for surely he did die, though. Just like God told him from the beginning. But he still lived for a long time. I bet you by the time he died, he was probably wanted to die. No, I don't know. I can't say that. But anyway, from that event, man fell, and there was also another exchange of the animals lost some of their abilities, and they were kind of punished along with Eve and with the you will suffer in childbirth thing. And all right, so this entered into the world, and this explains, outlines, something happened, something changed. Here, this affected something heavenly, almost like just like when Satan fell, it caused some kind of effect as well in a similar fashion, it would seem. And then when the next event is when Cain slew the brother, when all of a sudden now anywhere Cain goes, it's like basically the thorns and thistles grow up now. And it's like, then this dude used to be like the master grower. That's probably where your hanging gardens knowledge comes from. But as a result of this physical act, something very spiritual happened where all of a sudden even now, the very earth became more like it started to almost devour itself and attack itself. And that's kind of like, and it certainly turned more hostile to man. And likewise, we should have learned that lesson from that. And I don't think we do. That how they don't know that innocent blood defileth the land, and they think that it's fertility ritual magic, that it's to make the crops grow and they'll have good luck if they just throw some babies off the cliff, basically. But yeah, that's part of this threefold as well. But next, what happens is these watchers come down, and then they start to mate with man and women, or man, they start to mate with women, and they make a hybrid race. So as this happens, now all of a sudden, even more anger and violence entered into mankind as well that wasn't meant to be there. So it was almost like each one of these things, it was like threefold effect, and it just got bigger and worse and worse. And after that, it also says in other books like Jasher and Jubilees, it talks about how that like basically also like man started intentionally trying to provoke God to anger. Like they were like, you're not gonna do nothing. Life will continue on forever, always, as it always has. We'll always be sacrificing babies. We'll always be out just murking fools. We'll be taking whatever we want. We'll build statues. And slit throats on the statue. Why? That had to have been demonically, satanically, fallen angely inspired type of practices, and they really do this, like the Baal thing. There's an altar to Baal in America where it's a big stone tablet with a bloodletting trail in it. That's the scary shizzle that's been going on at some dark, sinister time. And they was getting down out in the boondocks. And that's quite creepy to know that could be creeping in your backyard, like up in Massachusetts or somewhere like that. But this threefold, once these angels entered in, now it said the earth became plagued with violence, like less really big time violence. Like after the Cain incident, there's not a lot more violence right away with the other people that are left around. But I don't know. There's a not a lot of in not a lot of background or in between the type of information between these books. It's kind of like it's all pretty much I guess the simplest and straightest, directest way is always the best way to get down to things. And once again, these things do line up just like that. You put them together, stack them together, boom, it's legit ski. But they started to do sophisticated forms of infanticide to further make God angry, and then they started to mix all kinds of species that weren't meant to mix. Like this is where you get your chimera, satyr, scimitar, Medusa, all these different all these different creatures. This is supposedly where this event it comes from, and then also giants. It's like you got Gilgamesh, that's a giant, and then you got the Sumerian text. Believe in that. So I mean, gives validity. These things all back each other up. They don't. None of them debunk anything. It's just they all it all kind of if you know it good enough, you can hear all that stuff, see kind of how it ties in and it confirms certain things. But if people don't got that threefold kind of way to confirm it for real, like it's crazy how those books though start off telling you what's going to happen in the end, and it's the beginning. And now we're here at the very close to the end Revelation situation. That it is quite remarkable, and I guess we are lucky. It's like when Jesus said to someone, he was like, "Man, don't you know they marveled to know and see the things that you saw?" And here we are. This is kind of one of those type events. Like boom, 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 boom. We are actually seeing it. And sometimes it's so traumatic. You almost it's like when you see someone kind of like frozen for a minute, like you need to slap them, and so they snap out of the trance. It is that explosive of a situation, and in that monumental, prophetic. It's like basically, yeah, man. You stand looking at, you can see Armageddon, like literally. You can. It's like when Tupac said, "I see death around the corner." It's like, look, we see Armageddon around the corner, and that's a pretty monumental, astronomical type of action to be actually seeing and living in. But a lot of people don't even know it. That's the real anomaly of the situation.